Hey, folks, welcome back to the Rugby Ascendant segment here on Chris Wyatt Africa and on the Rugby Ascendant channel. This is Chris in Central Pennsylvania. And my special guest today is from the Rugby ATL team, the Ratlers there in Atlanta from Major League Rugby. It's none other than Marko Janse van Rensburg. And I want to say welcome to Marko. How's it?
How's it going? No, I'm very impressed by your pronunciation of my surname. It's the best I've heard so far.
Well, it's actually pretty easy. I have viewers on my program. I have Levin Janse van Rensburg, and then I have her husband, who is also on my program. And then I have another gentleman comes on named Bram Janse van Rensburg. So when the three of them rock up on my show, then I was announced. So we have Levin, we have her husband, we have Bram, and I'm Chris Janse van Rensburg. So let's address that right up there very quickly. First off, where does the Janse come in there? Janse van Rensburg, is that a famous Afrikaner?
No, That's just a surname. That's just how it is. You get van Rensburg, and then you get Janse van Rensburg. It's a rather common last name in South Africa. Yeah.
Well, indeed it is, but I'm sure that my U.S. audience, global audience, had no idea. So maybe somebody just wanted distinction at some point. They added the Janse in there.
Yeah, I just had to be different, right?
Exactly. So obviously the cat's out of the bag. Hoe gaan dit?
Baie goed. Dankie. En self?
Pretty good, actually. And I'm looking forward to this conversation with you today. It's been awesome watching you on the pitch this year. So the cat's out of the bag. Obviously, you're from South Africa based on our conversation so far.
Yeah. Yes, I was born in Vanderbijl Park, and then my family relocated to the west coast of South Africa when I was just starting school. Then I did my school there, end of high school, and then went to Stellenbosch University for a few years after. So yeah, most of them was born in Gauteng, but then moved down to the Western Cape when I was quite young. I did most of my schooling and growing up there.
So you actually sort of grew up in the Western Cape then, not actually in Gauteng.
Yeah. It's a small town called Vredenburg on the west coast. Very small town. Went to primary school and high school there. Yeah.
So you did go to Stellenbosch, which there seems to be a very strong connection here on the Ratlers between the Western Province, whether playing for Western Province or living in the Western Province in Stellenbosch. An awful lot of guys on your team have that experience.
Yeah, definitely. When I got you, I was actually amazed to see. Well, we actually sat down and made the calculations. I knew there was a lot of South Africans here, but making the calculations, everyone some part played for the Marties, Stellenbosch University's first side. So quite a lot of us, yeah.
Indeed. So let me ask this question, because a lot of people grow up in places they don't necessarily experience much of it. Did you, as growing up in the Western Cape, did you get around? I mean, have you been to Hermanus to see the whales? Have you been down to Simonstown to see the penguins?
Yeah, I did all that. Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah. So you have to be really stupid to not make use of being in and around Cape Town and the Cape Winelands. I must say, going to the sea is nice and going to the beaches, but my favorite is definitely being in Stellenbosch, being in and around some of the best wine country in the world, I suppose, doing wine tours and going to different wine farms and sightseeing there. I like that very much.
Well, I think we found common ground there. I prefer the mountains over the beach any day. You can have the beach. It's just a bunch of sand and skin cancer. I'll pass. Whereas in the mountains, it's beauty and it's gorgeous. And then, of course, but you've hit it spot on the head. Stellenbosch is also my favorite place in South Africa. It's really lovely there. But there's some nice stuff around there, too. You got Franschhoek. You've got Paarl very close nearby.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. Everything around there, that Cape Winelands is a special part of the world.
So you go from this lovely Mediterranean climate there in the Western Cape, and you come over to Atlanta, where the summers are brutal. It's a pretty strong humidity down there. How are you adapting well to it? Is it not bothering you or what?
No, I'd be lying if I said it's great and not bothering me. But luckily, before I got here, I played for the Pumas in Currie Cup, and that's in Mpumalanga, another province to the northeast of South Africa, which actually is quite humid and very hot. It does get upwards of 100 degrees Fahrenheit, but it's not as humid as it gets here. So I must say it's still, I need to adapt to this. Yeah.
That's a tough thing. That's growing up. People always told me they love summertime. I wasn't a big fan. I lived on a farm. It just meant more work and it was hot.
Yeah. True that.
So your experience with the Pumas, I think you have like at least 50 appearances with the Pumas. That's quite a few. How was that experience?
Yeah, I was very lucky to, just before I got here, I played my 50th, one of my last games. I had 50 appearances, not all of them in Currie Cup. But yeah, I spent a good 4 years there. It's also beautiful. Another beautiful part is more bush because it's right by the Kruger National Park, um, and close to the Mozambican border. So it's yeah, that was also completely different beauty, but also very beautiful in its own right.
Well, for those who don't know the area, that's I think we're talking about Nelspruit. That's where the
Yeah,
Pumas play. Yes, yeah. Which of course has a different name now. It's an Mbani
it's Mbombela.
or Mbobela. That's correct. Yeah, awesome
Yeah,
stadium there. Have you played that? Is that where you played your games?
yeah, that's our home stadium. Yeah, we were very lucky because they built that for the 2010 Soccer World Cup. Obviously, the facilities there were great, and playing on that pitch, it's world class. And yeah,
Well, it's a lot more pleasant than playing on the concrete up there where the Greek was playing.
I'm not gonna make any comments on that. My friend Johan Momsen might disagree, but yeah, it is quite a bit better, I suppose,
Although I'd say the
especially in
weather,
winter time.
yeah, well, if it's not winter, I'd say the weather is probably a little bit better up there in Kimberley, but that's a hard piece of ground to hit. I'm telling you.
That's very hard. Yes, definitely.
So how did you make the move? How did you wind up over here playing for Rugby ATL?
Well, luckily, with playing at the Pumas, Nelly, Ryan Nell, was our captain here and was also our captain at the Pumas. He actually came over first, and we've got the same agent, and the agent's friends with someone here, and so they get the South Africans flown in that way, make a good connection in South Africa. I was lucky enough to get the opportunity to come over here. It's been a revelation. I've really been enjoying my rugby here. Yeah, just been great so far.
Well, I'd have to say that watching you playing the game, you seem to be having a really good season here. How do you feel about your season? Are you living up your potential here with Major League Rugby?
Yeah, I definitely think so. If the lineouts function well, I've scored tries, and it's not really my tries. It's credit to the pack. I basically just drive the bus at the back. Um, so it's not too difficult, but yeah, I must say, been really enjoying the rugby. And yeah, just the quality of it actually surprised me. Everyone's well coached, and get some teams with some big units, big rigs coming in the middle. You have to stop them. So yeah, it's been great.
Well, that's definitely one thing about Major League Rugby. It's been interesting is that the league has been able to attract a lot of big names from around the rugby world. I mean, we look at last night's game with Nola Gold, who pulled out a huge win out there in LA, but they're playing against the likes of Matt Giddo and Adam Ashley Cooper, DTH Van der Merwe. Rugby United has Ben Foden. We've seen Cathal Marsh over here. We've seen some really big names. We've seen last year, of course, we saw playing for DC. Gosh, I'm drawing a blank right now. The Beast at Tendim Tawira.
Yeah.
So a lot of really big names have come over. Joe Peterson, JP Duplessis. What's it like, this chance to? I mean, not only coming over here playing against all these North American guys who are mostly unknowns to the world, but you're also playing against some of the top names in the game. Now, some people say, "Oh, they're past it," but these guys aren't all past it. There's some guys still in their prime.
Yeah, well, if you look at Joe Peterson and Matt Giddo, they playing at the Storm, and they're almost 40 years old, and they're still playing the top of their game. And I think it's just a great opportunity to play against them, and just getting those names in. I suppose it's great for MLR, getting a recognition and around the world, because obviously if you see these superstars, people will start watching MLR because these big names are playing, and then they realize, yeah, we've got something going here in the MLR, and there's only ways up. Great room for growth, and yeah, it's awesome.
Well, it's no time to take your foot off the gas. You got 2 games left. You had a bye this weekend, so you got rested up. You're looking pretty fresh there. I hope the rest of the squad's looking well. But
thank you.
You're welcome. But with just 2 games left, it's all riding on these last 2 games. You're in first place. New England Free Jacks did you a massive favor by putting the hurt on in Rugby United New York. They're in what looked like like Bangladesh, a tropical rainstorm there. So they put the hurt on them and shocked them there in New England. And on top of that, last night, NOLA puts pressure on Rugby United New York. They moved up into second place, at least for the moment. And those two play each other in the last game of the season. So while you're not going to take your foot off the gas, I imagine that Scott Lawrence has told you guys, we got to keep each game. Let's take the next game and just get through the next game. But you're in the catbird seat right now. Just you can't be paying attention to the guys nipping on your heels.
Yeah, no, definitely can't get too complacent either at the top. If you're at the top, everyone wants to beat you. So there's no time whatsoever to take the foot off the gas, like you said. And yes, they did do us a favor, I suppose, but we've got a big thing here that we focus a lot on ourselves, and we're not too worried about the other results. If we keep winning, then we'll in a good spot, and playoffs at the moment obviously really want a home playoff. So yeah, they did do us a favor, but definitely I think we can't spend too much time thinking about other guys, just focus on ourselves.
Well, let me ask you this question, because obviously you're from South Africa. I asked this of all my Rattler guests that come out here from South Africa, which there seems to be a whole legion of them. So obviously this isn't South Africa. You're in the States now. Every country's got its own things. Is there anything really different about the US that was kind of a culture shock for you, that you came here like, wait a second, I didn't expect it to be this way?
No, not really, I must say. Apart from having to drive on the wrong side of the road.
No. Hold on. You're driving on the right side of the road. The people on the left side of the road are on the wrong side of the road.
Okay, let's agree to disagree, I suppose. Other than that, I must say, getting into this environment, especially in Atlanta, everyone's super friendly. Southern hospitality, everyone is really friendly and helpful. And it did help being one of 11 South Africans in the team. Does sometimes feel like I'm right at home. As long as we can have a braai over the weekend, I'm very happy.
Well, speaking of braais, we just had our national holiday here in the US. It's the 4th of July. And Americans don't really know what braais are. Some do, but it's not quite the same sort of thing. Have you been helping the Americans discover the art of braaiing?
I've been trying my best. Yeah. I still need to find proper wood to make a good fire on, get the coals. But I've been doing the barbecues with the charcoal and the gas. It's been it's the braai is not as much as what you braai on or what you cook the meat on. It's more of the being together with friends and being around the grill and like the social aspect of it.
Absolutely. Well, I might recommend this. You might consider getting some mesquite, which is kind of nice. Mesquite wood comes from Southwest. It's got a very distinct aroma to it, and it really makes a difference when you're eating the meat. You can taste it. So give it a shot.
Cool. Thanks for the pro tip.
No, it's my pleasure. Definitely an important stuff. As you said, it's the social aspect of it. So pretty awesome. Listen, I want to thank you so much, Marko, for coming on and wish you best of luck in these final 2 games this season. And a quick question before you go, will you be playing back in South Africa again? Is that part of your future? Is that something you've got on the table? Because you're listed on different sites as being with the Lions, but I don't know if you've had any appearances with them.
No, I did a preseason with them before COVID struck heavily and back home. We did a preseason in Super Rugby, and then there was a big break in rugby in South Africa, and then I went back to the Pumas, played Currie Cup. But at the moment, for now, I'm sticking around here. I'm not going back quite right now. Maybe in the future. You never know.
Well, I think that's probably going to make a lot of Rugby ATL fans pretty happy for a team that last year seemed to struggle out of the gate, but this year has really gelled. You guys are doing a great job. Thanks a lot for your spending time with me today. Bye, donkey, and we wish you luck the rest of the season.
Groot plezier. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Cheers. Take care.